1 Kings chapter 19. So Ahab went and spilled the tea to Jezebel about everything Elijah did, especially how he wiped out all the prophets with his sword. Jezebel fired off a savage threat through a messenger. So help me. May the gods totally wreck me if I don't make you just as dead as they are by this time tomorrow, dude. Elijah freaked out and dipped out of there, sprinting to Beersheba in Judah. He even ditched his servant there. Then he went solo into the desert full-on emo mode, sat under a bush and was like, "Ugh, that's it. I'm over it, Lord. Just take me now. I'm no better than any of those old dudes." He crashed under the tree and was snoozing when, whoa, an angel touched him and was like, "Rise and shine, bro. Time to eat." He woke up and saw a fresh cake on hot coals and a jug of water by his head. So he ate, drank, and was like, "K-bye," and napped again. But the angel came back like, "Yo, get up and eat again, 'cause this journey is going to be majorly intense." Elijah got up, munched the angel meal, and powered through for 40 days and 40 nights, hiking all the way to Mount Horeb, aka God's mountain. He holed up in a cave. Then God was like, "So, what you doing here, Elijah?" Elijah was like, "Lord, I've been super hardcore for you, but everyone ditched your covenant, trash your altars, and ice your prophets. And I'm the last man standing. And now they're trying to off me too." God was like, "Step outside the cave, dude. I'm about to pass by." Then came this gnarly windstorm that shattered rocks, but God wasn't in the wind. Next came an earthquake, still no God vibes. Then fire, but nope. Then this soft whisper, super chill. That was God. Elijah heard it, covered his face with his hoodie, and stepped out. Then a voice asked again, "Elijah, dude, what are you doing here?" He repeated, "I've been all in for you, Lord. But everyone ditched your deal, wrecked your stuff, and took out your prophets. I'm flying solo, and now they want me dead." God was like, "Okay, listen up. Go back through the desert to Damascus. When you get there, anoint Hazael king of Syria. Also, pick Jehu son of Nimshi as king over Israel. And Elisha, son of Shaphat from Abel-Meholah, he's your successor, bro. Anyone who slips past Hazael, Jehu's got anyone Jehu misses, Elisha will mop up. And just saying, I've still got 7,000 in Israel who never bowed to Baal or smooched him. You're not alone, bro." So Elijah bounced and found Elisha out in the field, plowing with 12 oxen. Elijah walked by and tossed his prophet cloak over him like, "Tag, you're it." Elisha ditched the oxen and chased after him like, "Dude, let me go kiss mom and dad goodbye. Then I'll totally follow you." Elijah said, "Whatever, bro. Do what you gotta do." So Elisha pieced out, BBQ'd his oxen with the wooden yokes, handed out steak to the neighborhood, and then he was gone. He joined Elijah and became his spiritual intern. 1 Kings chapter 20. So Ben-Hadad, he's a king of Syria, right? Got all his homies together. 32 kings, horses, chariots, the works. They rolled up to Samaria and started beef. He slid into King Ahab's DMs. Okay, sent messengers, and was like, "Yo, your silver and gold? Mine now. Your hottest wives and cutest kids? Also mine, bro." And Ahab was like, "Yeah, okay, my lord and king. Everything I got is basically yours. Chill." But then the messengers came back with more sass. They said, "Ben-Hadad says yeah about that. He's sending his squad tomorrow to raid your palace and your crew's cribs. They're gonna grab anything sparkly and fabulous and peace out with it." So Ahab gathered the old dudes and was like, "Okay, guys, can we talk about how this dude is being extra? I was gonna give him my fam and my bling, and now he wants to ransack everything." The elders were like, "Nah, bro, don't listen to him. Don't say yes." So Ahab hit reply and said, "Tell King Extra I was down with the first ask, but this new deal, no can do." And the messengers bounced. Then Ben-Hadad clapped back, "If my army doesn't grind Samaria into so much dust that we can't even scoop a handful, then the gods can totally wreck me." But Ahab fired off on the coldest burns ever. "Tell him, don't brag like you've already won, bro. Only winners get to post victory selfies." Ben-Hadad was like mid-party, getting totally sloshed with his king bros. When he heard that, he screamed, "Gear up!" And they prepped to roll out. Then a prophet showed up to Ahab and was like, "So, did you see how huge that army is? Well, guess what? God's given them to you today, so you'll know he's a legit lord." Ahab asked, "Wait, who's going to do this?" And the prophet was like, "The junior officers, dude." Ahab's like, "Who's in charge?" And he goes, "You are." So Ahab counted the young officer dudes, 232 of them. Then he counted the rest, 7,000 Israelites in total. They rolled out around lunchtime. Meanwhile, Ben-Hadad was 3 goblets deep at his king brother's only pavilion party. The young officer squad went out first. Ben-Hadad's scouts were like, "Yo, some guys are coming from Samaria." Ben-Hadad, still tipsy, was like, "Whatever. If they want peace, grab 'em. If they want war, grab 'em too. Just like, don't let 'em walk." So the officer squad marched out, followed by the main army, and they totally wrecked the enemy one-on-one. The Syrians were like, "Nope," and ran, and Israel chased them hard. Ben-Hadad bailed on horseback with his cavalry. Ahab rolled out, smashed the enemy's chariots and horses, and pulled off a gnarly slaughter. Then this totally righteous prophet came up to the king of Israel and was like, "Dude, bulk up your army and pay attention to what you're doing, because the king of Syria is going to come back next year for round 2. And the Syrian king's crew was all, "Bro, their god is totally the god of the hills, which is why they smoked us. But if we take him on in the flatlands, we'll totally shred." So here's the game plan. Ditch the king's bro and put some real captains in charge instead. Then build a new army, like just copy-paste the old one. Horse for horse, chariot for chariot. We'll meet them in the plains and have the upper hand. And the king was like, "Yeah, bro, that sounds legit," and did it. So like a year later, Ben-Hadad counted his dudes again and rolled up to effect to throw down with Israel. The Israelites got counted too, and they showed up like 2 little goat squads while the Syrians were totally covering the whole countryside. Then this other dude of God came up to the king of Israel and was like, "So check this out, because the Syrians said the Lord is just a hill god and not a valley god. He's going to hand you this massive army, so everyone knows he's a real deal." They camped across from each other for 7 days, just vibing. On day 7, boom, battle time. And Israel took out 100,000 Syrian foot soldiers in one single day. Whoa. The leftovers ran to effect, but then a wall legit fell and crushed 27,000 of them. Ben-Hadad was like, "I'm out," and hid in some inner room. His peeps were like, "Yo, we heard Israel's kings are chill. Let's put on some sackcloth and ropes and beg for mercy. Maybe they'll let you live." So they show up looking all busted and say, "Dude, Ben-Hadad just wants to live." And the king of Israel was like, "Wait, he's still alive? My bro." They were like, "Yeah, totally your bro." And Ahab goes, "All right, bring him here." So Ben-Hadad comes up into his chariot, like VIP style. Ben-Hadad's like, "Bro, I'll give back the cities my dad stole, and you can have a cool boulevard in Damascus." And Ahab's like, "Deal." So they shook on it and parted ways. Then this prophet guy tells his buddy, "Dude, smack me, please." But the guy's like, "Nah, I'm good." The prophet goes, "Bro, you messed up big. Because you didn't obey God, you're about to be lion chow. And boom, lion attack, instant karma. So the prophet finds another dude and says, "Hit me, please." That guy goes full send and wounds him. The prophet, now all banged up and disguised with dirt on his face, chills by the road waiting for the king. As the king passes by, he cries out, "Your Majesty." So I was in the middle of this epic battle, and some guy gave me this prisoner to watch and said, if he disappears, it's your life or you owe a fat stack of silver. But I got distracted and whoops, he was gone. And the king's like, dude, then that's on you. You basically judged yourself. Then the prophet wipes the dirt off and boom, surprise. The king realizes he's one of the prophets. And the prophet drops the hammer. God says, because you let go a dude he marked for destruction, it's your life for his and your people for his people. So the king of Israel was super bummed and low-key angry. And he sulked back to Samaria. 1 Kings chapter 21. So after all that went down, this dude Naboth from Jezreel had this super lush vineyard, right next to King Ahab's pad in Samaria. And Ahab goes up to Naboth bro, let me snag your vineyard so I can grow herbs and stuff. It's so close to my house. I'll totally hook you up with a better vineyard or pay you cash if that's more your vibe. But Naboth was like, no way, dude. The Lord would totally not be cool with me handing over my fam's inheritance like that. So Ahab went home all mopey and grumpy, 'cause Naboth was like, nope. The king sulked hard, flopped on his bed, turned his face to the wall, and even skipped dinner. Drama much? Then Jezebel, his wife, came in all concerned and said, babe, why you so down? You're not even snacking. And Ahab whined, it's Naboth. I asked him for his vineyard. I offered money or even a trade, but he shut me down. Jezebel looked at him ugh, are you not the king of Israel, or what? Get up, eat something, be happy. I'll get you that vineyard, no prob. Then she wrote a bunch of sketchy letters in Ahab's name, stamped them with his royal seal, and sent them off to the elders and VIPs in Naboth city. And in the letter she was like, yo, announce a fast and put Naboth in the spotlight. Then bring in 2 shady dudes to totally lie and say, Naboth trashed God and the king. Then take him outside and stone him till he's dead. So the city bigwigs did what Jezebel told him. Just followed the shady script like total sellouts. They called the fast, put Naboth front and center like he was a guest of honor. Then the 2 sketchy dudes rolled in, sat across from him, and accused him in public. Naboth totally blasphemed God and the king. And just like that, they dragged him outside the city and hurled rocks till he was gone. Afterward, they sent word to Jezebel hey, just FY, Naboth is totally stoned and dead. And when Jezebel heard Naboth was out of the picture, she told Ahab, alrighty, babe, go snag that vineyard Naboth wouldn't sell you. 'Cause guess what? He's dead. So when Ahab heard Naboth was totally toast, he got up and cruised over the vineyard to, make it his new veggie patch. But then God hit up Elijah the Tishbite with a divine heads up. Yo, Elijah, rise and cruise down to talk to Ahab, king of Israel. He's chilling in Naboth's vineyard like it's his now. And when you see him, hit him with this. Dude, did you actually kill someone and steal his land? Not cool. Tell him, the Lord says, in the same gnarly spot where the dogs licked up Naboth's blood, they're going to slurp up yours too. And Ahab saw Elijah and was like, ugh, is that you, my arch nemesis? And Elijah goes, oh, totally. I found you, bro, 'cause you sold yourself out to be extra evil in God's eyes. So here's the tea. God's bringing total wipeout to your family. Everyone's getting wiped, from the dude who messes on walls to the dude hiding out in Israel. Your whole fam's getting wrecked, just like Jeroboam's and Bosch's. because you ticked God off and dragged all of Israel into your mess. And about your wife Jezebel, God says, the dogs are totally going to eat her by the wall in Jezreel. Major yikes. Anyone from Ahab's fam who dies in the city, dogs get the buffet. Anyone who dies out in the field, birds are going to snack. For real, no one was as extra wicked as Ahab. Like, dude sold his soul to be evil, and his wife Jezebel was his hype girl for bad decisions. He did super gross stuff, worshiped idols like the Amorites, the same peeps God booted out back in the day. And when Ahab heard all that fire and brimstone, he freaked, tore his clothes, rocked sackcloth, fasted hard, and walked around like a total bummer. Then God hit up Elijah again with another divine DM. Hey, did you peep how Ahab is actually humbling himself? Since he's dialing it down, I won't bring the doom in his lifetime. I'll wait and drop it on his son's watch. 1 Kings chapter 22. So for 3 years, everything was pretty chill. No gnarly battles between Israel and Syria. Then in year 3, Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, came down to hang with Ahab, the king of Israel. And the king of Israel was like, dudes, are we just going to let the Syrians hold Ramoth and Gilead? It's totally ours, and we're just sitting here doing nada. Then he asked Jehoshaphat, you down to squat up and hit Ramoth Gilead with me? And Jehoshaphat goes, bro, I'm all in. Your peeps are my peeps, your horses are my horses. But Jehoshaphat added, let's totally check with God first, you know? So the king of Israel rounded up about 400 prophets and asked, should I charge into battle for Ramoth Gilead, or should I chill? And they all said, totally go. God's got your back. But Jehoshaphat was like, is there anyone actually legit from the Lord we can ask? And the king of Israel was like, there's this one guy, Micaiah son of Imlah, but I seriously can't stand him, cause he never says anything nice about me. Jehoshaphat replied, whoa, don't be dramatic. So the king of Israel told an officer, go grab Micaiah, stat. Meanwhile, both kings were looking all royal, posted on thrones at the gate of Samaria, watching all the prophets doing their thing. One of them, Zedekiah, even whipped up these iron horns and was like, check it. The Lord says you're going to gore the Syrians with these till they're toast. All the other prophets were echoing, yeah, dude, head to Ramoth Gilead and crush it. God's totally on your side. Now the messenger who went to get Micaiah was like, hey bro, all the other prophets are gassing up the king. So maybe go with the good vibes? And Micaiah was like, dude, as surely as the Lord lives, I'm only saying what he tells me. So he rolls up and the king goes, all right, Micaiah, should we go to Ramoth Gilead or nah? And Micaiah said, sure, go ahead and prosper. The Lord's totally handing it to you. But the king wasn't buying it and said, dude, how many times do I have to make you swear to tell me the real truth from the Lord? And Micaiah dropped it straight. I saw Israel totally scattered across the hills, like sheep without a shepherd. And God was like, they've got no leader. Send everyone home in peace. Ahab turned to Jehoshaphat and was like, see, told you, he only brings the bad vibes. But Micaiah went on, listen up, here's what I saw. God was chilling on his throne, with all of heaven's crew standing to the left and right. Then the Lord said, who's going to convince Ahab to go up and face planet Ramoth Gilead? One spirit had one idea, another had a different pitch. Then this one spirit stepped up and was like, I got it. I'll totally lure him in. God asked, how? And the spirit said, I'll be a lying spirit in all his prophets' mouths. And God was like, nice. You'll totally pull it off. Go do it. So, yeah, that's what's up. The Lord let a lying spirit speak through all these prophets. He's not exactly handing you sunshine and rainbows. Then Zedekiah got all salty, walked up, slapped Micaiah, and said, oh, really? "So how did the Spirit of the Lord skip me and text you, huh?" And Micaiah was like, "Bro, you'll totally see what's up when you're hiding out in your panic room." Then the king of Israel was like, "Take this guy, like now, and drop him off with him on the city boss and Josh, my kid. Tell them, the king says toss this dude in jail and give him nothing but stale crusts and sad sips until I come back all victorious." But Micaiah was like, "Dude, if you actually come back in one piece, then God never even spoke through me." Then he looked out and said, "Yo, everybody better be listening." So the king of Israel and Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, were like, "Let's roll to Ramoth Gilead." Ahab said to Jehoshaphat, "Okay, I'm going to go all undercover, but you should totally stay flashy in your royal fit." Then he went all ninja mode into battle. Meanwhile, the king of Syria was like, "Commanders, listen up. I don't care who else you see. Only go for the king of Israel." So when they saw Jehoshaphat all robed out, they were like, "That's totally our guy," and moved into attack. But Jehoshaphat was like, "Oh," and shouted. Once they realized it wasn't Ahab, they were like, "Oops, wrong bro," and backed off. Then this one dude randomly shot an arrow like, "Why, Lelo?" And it nailed Ahab between his armor plates. And Ahab was like, "Turn this chariot around. I'm totally wrecked, bro." The battle was still raging, but Ahab just slumped in his ride, bleeding out. By sunset, he was toast, blood everywhere. And when the sun dipped, someone was like, "Everybody go home. It's done." So they brought Ahab's body back to Samaria and buried him there. And later they washed his chariot in the Samaria car wash. And EW, dogs were licking up his blood, just like God said would happen. Super gnarly. The rest of Ahab's antics, like his ivory mansion and all the cities he built, are totally written in the Chronicles of the Kings of Israel. Then Ahab peaced out, aka died, and his kid Ahaziah took over the throne. Meanwhile, over in Judah, Jehoshaphat, son of Asa, started his rule in Ahab's 4th year. He was 35 when he got the crown and ruled for 25 years in Jerusalem. His mom was Azubah, daughter of Shilhi. Props to her. He followed all the good vibes from his dad Asa, doing what was right in God's eyes, though the high places weren't taken down, and people still burned incense there. But Jehoshaphat was a total chill peacemaker with Israel. All his epic moments, his strength and war stuff, are recorded in the Chronicles of the Kings of Judah. You should totally read it. He even cleared out the last of the sketchy folks left since Asa's time. At that time, Edom didn't have a king, just a placeholder ruler dude. Jehoshaphat tried to send ships to Ophir for bling gold, but the ships were like, "Nope," and broke down at Ezion-Geber. Then Ahaziah, Ahab's kid, was like, "Can my crew cruise with yours?" But Jehoshaphat was like, "Hard pass." Then Jehoshaphat passed on, got buried in the city of David, and his son Jehoram snagged the crown. Over in Israel, Ahaziah, son of Ahab, began his reign during year 17 of Jehoshaphat's reign in Judah. He ruled for 2 whole years from Samaria. And he did evil in God's eyes, walking the bad steps of his dad, his mom, and Jeroboam. Bad role models, dude. He worshiped Baal, made the Lord super mad, and just followed the same shady path his dad blazed.